This podcast is brought to you by Three Rivers Energy Partners. In today's episode of Digest This.
6.75 million metric tons of carbon removal. Isn't that just, well, staggering?
Nest claims that their SAF reduces GHG emissions by up to 80% over the fuel's life cycle, and that they already have over 70 direct customers using it.
The press release mentions this project will bring 75 permanent jobs and 600 construction jobs.
Welcome to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, where we dive deep into the latest developments in sustainability and renewable energy. Join us in exploring the pioneering solutions and technologies that are shaping our future. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Okay, Emily, let's kick things off with this Microsoft AtmosClear partnership. 6.75 million metric tons of carbon removal. Isn't that just, well, staggering?
It absolutely is. According to a recent press release from Fidelis New Energy LLC, this is the largest engineered carbon removal agreement to date, and what makes it so impactful is its longevity. Over 15 years, they aren't just committing to removal. They're essentially investing in the scalability of technologies like BX or bioenergy with carbon capture and storage.
BECCS? That's what, bioenergy carbon capture? How does it actually work?
Exactly. Picture this. Plants, like sugarcane in this case, absorb CO2 during their growth. When you process these plants to create energy, the remaining biogenic CO2, so basically CO2 derived from organic sources, gets captured instead of being released. It's then permanently stored underground or repurposed. So it's circular. You're not only avoiding emissions, but actively pulling CO2 out of the atmosphere.
So we're talking carbon capture. That's the real deal, not just like a Band-Aid fix.
Precisely, and what's exciting is that using sustainable feedstocks like sugarcane bagasse, essentially the byproducts from sugarcane juice extraction, means the project contributes to sustainability on multiple fronts. It's reducing waste, creating clean energy, and removing carbon all at once.
Which sounds perfect. But like knowing this field, it's going to run into challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely. While the technology is proven, scaling it up requires significant investment, expertise, and infrastructure alignment. But with someone like Microsoft on board, the resources and visibility for AtmosClear are amplified, which could help mitigate potential roadblocks.
And let's not gloss over the economic angle here. The press release mentions this project will bring 75 permanent jobs, 600 construction jobs. They're pulling from local economies that really need it in Baton Rouge. That's a win-win, you know?
Exactly. Plus, the emphasis on forestry management jobs, which have been in decline, that's critical for sustaining these communities in the long term. It's a great example of aligning global sustainability goals with local priorities.
Yeah, it's like proving you can think big on climate while actually helping real people on the ground. So, speaking of big moves by corporations tackling climate change, let's dive into Amazon's new carbon credit service. They're making claims about helping companies secure high-quality credits. Sounds promising on paper, but what's the real hook here?
It's fascinating, really. What Amazon is doing is addressing a critical issue in the voluntary carbon market, the lack of transparency and credibility around carbon credits. They're offering a vetted service that ensures the credits companies buy actually lead to measurable and meaningful climate benefits.
So, they're setting the standard for everyone else?
Exactly. And they've structured it so that participating companies have to meet rigorous criteria, like publicly reporting their greenhouse gas emissions and aligning their strategies with the latest climate science. It's designed to push these companies beyond just symbolic gestures toward genuine long-term impact.
Okay, but here's the thing. Carbon credits seem like this optional extra, right? I mean, is this really moving the needle?
Good point, Alex. The reality is carbon credits alone won't solve climate change, but they're an important tool in the larger toolkit. In Amazon's article, they reference the research done by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, saying we need to both halt deforestation and remove 1 trillion tons of carbon from the atmosphere by the end of the century. High-quality credits help drive funding to projects that tackle these exact challenges.
So they're like a way to funnel cash into real action?
Exactly. In Amazon's recent article about their credit service, they quote the CEO of Conservation International in that quote, "Deforestation drives 30% of global emissions." End quote. That is a big chunk of the emissions. By funding reforestation or forest restoration projects, companies can offset some of their emissions while supporting critical ecosystems. Plus, these credits help scale technologies and practices that aren't feasible for all companies to implement directly.
Right. And it's not like Amazon's only solution is credits, right? I mean, their operations shifting toward net zero by 2040, that's a pretty bold claim.
Absolutely. They're investing heavily in decarbonizing their operations, things like switching to carbon-free energy, transitioning to electric vehicles for deliveries, and even overhauling their entire real estate portfolio to lower emissions. Those operational changes are the backbone of achieving net zero.
But how realistic is this goal? I mean, they're huge. Worldwide operations, massive logistics, you name it.
It's extremely ambitious, no doubt. But they're pairing that ambition with concrete steps, like their Sustainability Exchange program, which not only decarbonizes Amazon, but also helps their suppliers and customers align with similar goals. That ripple effect can be transformative if executed well.
I gotta admit, while it's all high-tech and forward-looking, there's still this question of accountability. How can they prove these credits and projects are actually working?
That's the hard part, right? Amazon's approach seems to focus on accountability by using science-based standards and verified metrics. They want to ensure that credit-backed projects are directly measurable and deliver durable climate benefits. It's not perfect, but it's a step toward restoring trust in the carbon credit system.
Fair. I mean, if big players like Amazon can crack this, it might shift the entire carbon market. Which brings us, Emily, to one of the toughest sectors to tackle in this systemic shift: aviation. I mean, you can slap a solar panel on a house or switch to an EV, but how do you decarbonize a 747 flying across the Atlantic?
Exactly. That's where biofuels, especially sustainable aviation fuels or SAFs, come in. They're not just a placeholder. Until something better comes along, they're actually one of the best solutions for long-haul aviation right now. Companies like Nest have made substantial progress in scaling this technology, and they're doing it while diversifying their feedstocks, which is key to sustainability.
Right. Nest is fascinating. They're processing used cooking oil, animal fats, stuff that was once waste, and turning it into something that can literally power a jet. That's amazing. And they've become a leader in SAF production globally.
Nest claims that their SAF reduces GHG emissions by up to 80% over the fuel's life cycle, and that they already have over 70 direct customers using it, and that it is available at more than 25 key airports, including San Francisco International Airport, Los Angeles International Airport, Frankfurt Airport, Amsterdam Airport Schiphol, Changi Airport, and Narita International Airport.
Those are big numbers. It sounds like they are already having a great impact on moving the world to a more sustainable future.
It reminds me of what was mentioned in Amazon's article we discussed earlier about feedstock control being crucial.
What was once trash is now treasure. I mean, that is exactly how we approach opportunities with our anaerobic digestion systems. We target industrial organic waste streams that are extremely consistent as our feedstocks.
Biofuels kind of feel like the sleeper hero of the energy world, huh? They really are. And while they won't replace electrification in many areas, they're an incredibly vital piece of the puzzle for those hard-to-abate sectors. The key is continued innovation and scaling sustainable practices, just like we're seeing now. There is still so much opportunity today for organic waste streams to be converted into renewable energy and resources.
On that note, I think we can say the future of biofuels looks bright, especially for industries where emissions are toughest to tackle. Honestly, there's so much potential here, it's hard not to feel optimistic.
Couldn't agree more. And with companies pushing boundaries, policy frameworks evolving, and research reinforcing what's possible, we're slowly but surely charting a more sustainable path forward.
And on that note, that's all for today. Great chatting, Emily.
Always a pleasure, Alex. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to Digest This, Unpacking Our Sustainable Future, a Three Rivers Energy Partners podcast. Three Rivers Energy Partners is a renewable energy company that empowers organizations with the ability to create a sustainable future by converting organic waste streams into renewable energy and resources. To get the latest episode of Digest This, or to find out more about Three Rivers Energy Partners, visit threeriversenergy.com or find us on LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. The sustainable future is being created right now. Keep exploring and keep up to speed with the latest in renewable energy and sustainability. See you next time.